I'll explain this problem two different ways, and it might be a long video, but let's get started. So one of the things that I can do here is use the answer choices to my advantage. So see that 4x or 4x here, 4x to the y here, 4x to the 2y here, those numbers are getting distributed here and here. And when I distribute them, the final results should look like that. So one of the things that I can do is go through the answer choices, distribute those along, and see where it equals the original. So let's start with answer choice A. So that one will be 4x. I'm just going to write the whole thing out first. So first is 4x times x cubed minus, again, that 4x now gets multiplied by the x to the y. And the reason I wrote this out is so I can clearly show you exactly what's happening. Now when I'm multiplying and have the same base, I have to add my exponents. So this will become 4x to the fourth. I'm going to add the 1 and the 3. Now minus, again, if I'm multiplying exponents and have the same base, I'm going to add. So keep in mind there's an imaginary 1 there. So this will actually become y plus 1. So this one might seem a little confusing, but just keep in mind that there's an imaginary 1 there, and if I have the same base, I add my exponent, so that just became y plus 1. And that does not look like the original, right? So for that reason, A is gone. Now I can do that same exact thing to B, C, and D. I'm going to cross out B and C because I know the answer is D, so I'm not going to show you all the steps for B and C, but you can try doing it on your own if you want to. But I'm just going to go right to D, and I'll show you why that one works out and why that's the answer. So it's 4x to the 2y times 1 minus x to the y. Now this one's kind of easy, the first one. 4x to the 2y times 1 is just 4x to the 2y. Now minus, I'm going to write this one out. So it's 4x to the 2y times, let's write this out over here, 4x to the 2y times x to the y. See how I have the same base here? So if I have the same base, I add my exponents. So that will become 4x to the 3y. And that's what the original one is. So hence why my answer is D. Now, let me erase all of this, and I'm going to show you, oops, well, let me make this a little bit easier too. All right. So this, there you go. Now, see how I have 4x to the 2y minus 4x to the 3y? Think about how we can factor this out. The way you want to, so if I had 7x minus 7y, right? This is pretty easy to factor out because there's a 7 common here, there's a 7 common here, so we can pull that out and we can rewrite this just like 7 times the quantity of x minus y. So something similar here. What the common terms between this side and this side are 4x to the 2y, because there's a 4x to the 2y in there and there's a 4x to the 2y hidden in there too. Now what do I need to, what's the number that I need over here? So when I multiply 4x to the 2y by this number, it gives me 4x to the 2y. Again, it's just, that one's an easy one. That's just 1. 4x to the 2y times 1 will be 4x to the 2y. This one's a little bit tougher, but again, if we kind of understand the exponent rules, it really shouldn't be that bad. So if I have the same base and the y there, if I had x to the 2y times x, imagine, remember there's an imaginary 1 here, so this would just become x to the y over here. So this would be, forget the fact that I said imaginary 1, there's a y here, right? Because I'm going to be multiplying x to the 2y times x to the y. So I add my exponents, which is 2y plus y, and that's the same thing as x to the 3y. So that's why when I multiply this by that number, this will be the final result right there. So if that's the final result, I know that I can factor it out this way, and that is answer choice D. So if you use the answer choices, distribute it, you're going to match up, you're going to see which one matches up with the original, or you can do the other way around and use the actual original expression and factor it out and then match it up with the answer choices.